Don't you wanna
Style,
don't you
set
wanna
trends,
don't you wanna
Salon PK,
don't you
get
wanna
it in like.
Hey, this is Andre Walker, celebrity hairstylist. You're listening to Hair Fashion Pro Tuesdays with Pekela Riley.
It's not every day we get to talk to Andre Walker, celebrity stylist and entrepreneur, 7-time Emmy Award winner, people. Oprah Winfrey's personal stylist for 25 years. Has styled the first ladies and so much more. Author of Andre Talks Hair Care line. I'm just so excited to have you here today. How are you, Andre?
I'm doing great, and I'm glad to be talking to you today.
Great. So at what moment did you know you wanted to become a hairstylist?
Oh, God, I was a kid when I realized I wanted to be a hairstylist. Hair has always been something that's been intriguing to me, even as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was a young adult, I started playing with my mother's wigs. My mother used to wear what they called wiglets back in the 70s.
Now, what's the wiglet? The half wigs?
It's like a little hairpiece. They called them wiglets back then. It was like, I'm telling my age when I'm saying that.
I can't talk either.
Excuse me. But they're, little hair pieces that people would pull their hair back and, maybe put, on a bun or do like a cluster of curls sort of style. But I started playing with those of my mom's, and I would, she tried to, when I was in high school, she tried to gear me away from doing hair because she knew that that's what I wanted to do. And she wanted me to be a pharmacist of all things. But she enjoyed me doing her wiglets. So every Saturday,
Mm-hmm.
I would have to get her wiglets ready so that she could wear them on Sunday morning to church. So this went on for a long time, and finally she decided, I guess this is what you're going to do. And so I went on to compete in a hairstyling competition at a Pivot Point Beauty School, which is a franchise around the world, basically.
Yeah.
And I went to the one in the Chicago area. I entered a competition, and I won half my tuition for school.
Oh, totally awesome.
So that's how it all started.
Wow, totally amazing. I actually went to that Pivot Point in Chicago for advanced training.
Really?
Yes, I did. After I finished hair school here. So tell me, Andre, because so many people, this is such just a powerful interview because so many people look up to you and your career, and not just hairstylists, but even consumers as a whole. You've done it. So who's most influential in your life in becoming a hairstylist? It sounds like your mom.
Yeah. It's been a drive that I've always had, and I can't necessarily say my mom was really enthusiastic about it initially because it wasn't the sort of career she wanted me to go into. Because in those days, my high school counselor agreed with my mother. We had a meeting about it one day. And she agreed that it wasn't the right thing for me to go into because black men didn't make money in this business. The only people who made money in this business were white male hairdressers.
Wow.
And so I decided I would prove them wrong.
And boy, haven't you.
And determined to do it, I went ahead against everybody else's opinions, and I decided to do it for myself.
So you guys are hearing it. You're hearing it direct from Andre Walker. If it's in you, you have to go with it. You have to follow your dreams. And
absolutely.
This was in him at a very young age, and he pursued it like in an amazing way. So, what were your first hairstyling experience before you opened up your own highly successful salon in Chicago? And how were you able to build such a great brand and gain a reputation for one of the fiercest salon in the Windy City? How did you do that, Andre?
just doing my best work. When I was that age, when I was younger, before I opened the salon, I had lots of friends who were in the business also, and I would go and hang out with them, and we'd learn things from each other. We'd talk about hair constantly, and I worked in on the Gold Coast, which is an area that, if you know Chicago, it's a very affluent shopping area in the city. And my first job was assisting a guy named Rudy Hooker, who was considered the premier African American hairstylist.
Yes, I've heard of Rudy Hooker.
And so Rudy kind of took me under his wings and just, shared all of his expertise with me. And, I worked with him for a while. And eventually I worked in the, did I mention that it was the iMagna Salon on Michigan Avenue.
Okay.
And I worked with him for maybe less than a year before the salon decided that I should have my own chair.
Wow, amazing.
So I started building a clientele from there. And in those days, if you were a black woman and you could shake your head and your hair would move and fall right back in place, you were like. So,
yes, still
so
today.
I learned how to blow dry and style hair in such a way that, black women could shake their head and hair would fall right back in place, and we didn't use oil then either, and it was at a point where everybody thought, oh, I got to have oil on my hair. If I don't have oil on my hair's going to fall out.
Exactly.
And so I learned, from Pivot Point that, all of those were myths, and that you didn't necessarily have to have oils in your hair in order to keep it, and especially if you wanted it to bounce.
Yeah.
So
certainly you were a pioneer in regards to having body and putting hair, African American hair with body on the map. And so basically as a stylist, I hear that you basically nailed the precision cut, the art of precision cutting in your very formidable years of hairstyling.
Oh, that was a must-know from Pivot Point.
Mm-hmm.
You could not graduate Pivot Point unless you knew how to do a precision haircut.
Oh, I know.
And that was one of the things they pounded in your head. You had exams that you had to pass, but that was Pivot Point had what they called the scientific approach to hairstyling, and hair cutting was an important part in that approach. So that was one of the things they emphasized the most in their curriculum. So I learned a lot from Pivot Point.
Awesome.
As far as that's concerned.
Awesome. Now, so story has it, and just by legend, that you reached out to Oprah and said that you're dying to cut her hair one day. How did you have the nerve to make this bold request to Oprah Winfrey? How did this go about?
Well, in those days, she was, this new talk show host in Chicago, and she was the host for AM Chicago, which was a morning talk show in Chicago. That was before it became the Oprah Winfrey Show and before it became syndicated. So she was a local celebrity, but she wasn't the icon that she is today. So I had enough nerve to ask her back then if I could cut her hair.
So it wasn't as intimidating as it would be today.
Exactly. I mean, it was a little intimidating, but I thought, you know what? I could do a better job with her hair than what's going on with it now. So, so that's why I approached her that way. And when I approached her, my name was familiar to her already because when she would ask around for recommendations from people that she would encounter with great hair, they would always tell her that I was their hairstylist. So she said my name kept coming up, and it kept coming up time at a time. And so then when I sent the flowers, it was she had already known who I was. So her publicist was quick to call me and ask me to come in, and then it was I was coming in to do a tryout. And after the first day, her publicist said, "Well, you did good today. I think we want to try you out again tomorrow." So that went on and on and on until finally we agreed that I would be her regular hairstylist, and that's been over 25 years ago now. So.
Okay, all right, we're going to take a little break. You're listening to Hair Fashion Pro Tuesdays with Pekela Riley and our featured guest, celebrity stylist and entrepreneur, Andre Walker. We'll be right back.